and he kind of spoke out, broke it down, basically explained what was going on, and said that all Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military working with us, law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. They really grabbed hold of him. And Venezuelans living in Argentina were displaying the Venezuelans' flag. It creates freedom, and they would all celebrate. So a lot of people are celebrating. It's ironic, and I'm not really super political, especially when it comes to US politics, because I'm not from the US, okay? I'm over here, I'm a rich boy, right, is what it is. But I do have an interest and a fascination in American politics. The UK is kind of like America's little bro. And, you know, when I am in the US, I do find it interesting to look into their politics and learn about what's going on there. But it seems like a lot of people on the left-leaning side of things, they're kind of like calling this out, saying, you know, this is like the Iraq War. Trump's intervening heavily in other countries. But ironically, okay, my screen's got a little bit wonky over here. Ironically, a lot of people...
What they did to you was wrong, man.
You're illegal.
Venezuela feel like they've been liberated. They're happy. Okay,
dog.
Containers at Venezuela's port. They went in there, guns blazing. But people in Florida were waving the flag. The Venezuelans were super happy to hear that. Pro-government armed civilians were patrolling Venezuela after the news of Maduro's capture had spread. These guys aren't looking too tough. They took out your main man. You couldn't defend the big op. Okay. Protesters were gathering outside the White House to denounce the operation. But this is slightly different. This is slightly different to what happened in Iraq. And there was lots of pictures and images going around. Residents evacuating a building near the presidential palace. This is a fire scene at Fort Tuna in Caracas. Where this went down. But there were a bunch of really interesting things. So there was actually videos of the strikes as they happened, them going around.
The United States hit Venezuela with a large-scale strike early Saturday and said its president, Nicolas Maduro, had been captured and flown out of the country. Here's what to know. Multiple explosions and low-flying aircraft were seen in Caracas in the early hours of Saturday morning. Maduro's government immediately accused the US of an imperialist attack on civilian and military installations. US President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that Maduro had been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. He added that the operation was done in conjunction with US law enforcement. The apparent attack itself lasted less than 30 minutes. Trump said in his social media post that the strike was carried out successfully. It comes after the Trump administration has escalated pressure on Maduro, who has decried US military operations against alleged drug traffickers as a thinly veiled effort to oust him.
Sheesh.
It was not immediately clear who was running the country,
Me?
and Maduro's whereabouts were not immediately known.
We know them now, all right? They grabbed his ass. People saying they picked him up faster than a DoorDash. 30-minute special military operation. Look, I'll keep it real. We can get into it another day. I don't know if you guys want to see me covering politics more on this channel, but I'll give you my opinions, man. I don't really fuck with Russia and the way that they invaded Ukraine. I'm pretty pro-Ukraine in general. You know, there's a lot of corruption stuff going on there. But I do feel like Ukraine has a right to exist and it is a sovereign country. But Russia went in. They said it's going to be like, what, a couple-day military operation? We're going to take all of Ukraine. You guys flopped. You tried to kill Zelensky a bunch of times. You flopped. You slid. It was sloppy drills. You didn't get shit done. And this is really how you do a 30-minute special military operation. If Russia were really standing on business like the Americans were, they would have captured Zelensky in 30 minutes and got his ass out of there, and he would have been getting perp walked like Maduro was. But Russia, they ain't on shit. They ain't on piss. They're weak, right? And for all the people that are like, oh, Russia, yeah, with Russia, Ukraine doesn't have a right to it, bro. Russia's some bitches. Russia's some hoes. They couldn't perform a drill like this, bro. They're not equipped to drill like this, right? People saying this might be the single most terrifying modern military operation. So we just flew in and blew everything up in our way and kidnapped a foreign president faster than an Uber would arrive. They really hit him with the Uber Lux. I'm not gonna lie. They called in the Uber Lux, pulled up, picked him up, dropped him off at his destination, New York City. Quick time, 30 minutes, right? They're saying it makes a Call of Duty ghost look real. Right? Did we just kidnap the leader of a country? Yeah, we did. Well, they did. Let me know which oil stock I need to buy. Any oil stock is going to do well, okay? So look, I ain't condoning it. I'm not saying this is a great thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing either. It might be hypocritical, but at the end of the day, this is a show of power. This is the United States saying, look, we stand on business. Nobody can fuck with us. We are number one. We will come in your country and grab your big dog, bro. Take out your big dog like that. Like, we don't give a shit. So that's what they did. They pulled up, right? They went in, they grabbed the guy, and they just took him away. And I'm going to get into it in a minute as to why other countries are going to think that this is how they can move, but they can't, because no one is as tough as the United States. The United States are the big dog. They're the top of the pyramid. They are the most powerful country on the world. And for people that want to go, oh, all of these, there's a lot of people in the United States. I'm going to get political now, fuck it. There's a lot of people that I meet in the United States that they low-key hate the United States from the inside, and they're like, oh, China's taking over. China's already bigger. The United States has fallen off. I'm going to move to Russia, bro. You are dumb as hell, all right? China might have a bunch of people, and they got Temu everything. They got Temu. Their economy is falsely inflated, okay? They're broadcasting fake numbers. They're putting up skyscrapers that they can't fill and no one wants to live in them, okay? The whole population is controlled. It is not as strong of a country as it looks. I don't want to say a paper tiger, but if it really came to World War III, okay, they'd be pulling up in the Temu F-15s, all right? Their planes, everything sucked. They supplied Russia with a bunch of military equipment that sucked, all right? I heard that China supplied Russia with a bunch of tires for their invasion, and them shits was running flat. Like, all of that shit that they had, there's a reason why people don't want to buy shit made in China. It's all well and good, you get it cheap, but it breaks. It's trash. Them Temu chains, all of that shit you buy from Temu, from Wish.com, it's trash. It's known to be trash. Whereas the United States military, okay, they flying in the Cadillacs, okay? It is built to last. It is built for war. The United States is not to be played with. Whether you're a self-hating American, whether you're a proud patriot, I'm neither. I'm from outside, but the United States is not to be fucked with, okay? So let's just go and have a little look back, okay, at some of the military operations that Trump has actually been doing in Venezuela, because he has been sliding over there for a minute. You might not be aware of this, okay? This was just 4 days ago, okay? Trump says the US hit a big facility linked to Venezuelan drug boats. He slid. They blew up a whole dock linked to Venezuelan drug boats. This was 4 days ago, okay? And I'm pretty sure people...
So we picking more on these QBs? Is that the right play?
Marshawn, that's the only play.
Okay, I ain't know you was about that action.
So this is since September, the US launched 30 strikes on what they say are drug smuggling boats targeting vessels in the Pacific and the Caribbean, and they killed more than 100 people. Trump caught 100 bodies on the Venezuelans like that, okay? He really big VDK out here. And I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it's cool. Anybody losing their life is obviously a great tragedy, but at the same time, this is a show of power. He'd been sliding on Venezuela, okay? He took out 100 of their mans, and then he basically said, fuck it, I'm gonna grab the big dog, and we taking him alive, right? Look at this.
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs, so we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
He said it's no longer around. He took it out. It no longer exists. It's in the past. So that was, I believe, was that New Year's Eve? So I saw reporting that there was 8 bodies, right? 100 people have died since these operations have started. This particular strike just 4 days ago, Trump caught 8 hats, right? 8 people got killed. I think actually this was a different one, okay? But I think this was on the same day, or this was maybe a day after. But the US military struck 5 alleged drug smuggling boats over 2 days. They killed 8 people while others jumped overboard and may have survived. They were over there just sliding, like standing on business, okay? They were calling them narco traffic. Oh, man, we need that oil. So this shit's great.
Damn, look at that. Look how close that shit. That's right, baby. That's right, that's what it's all about. Come on. Who else wanna fuck with me but me? Cause I know how to get home MVP. Night.